I tried to think about this earlier today when I was watching the show and what really drives me nuts about Wes. And I think I figured it out. And again, I know I just said I don't want to be negative or whatever else, but here I am again.
I'm so intrigued.
There's no doubt, I'll be the first to tell you, that one of the most mentally strong sports out there is swimming, okay? Stare at the bottom of a pool for 2 hours, I don't want to do it. Do not want to do it.
No.
But when you tell me that you're a really good swimmer, now all of a sudden I'm annoyed.
So it's any sport.
But Wes is very much like, I'm a great swimmer. Like,
he is.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in comparison, but to these people, for sure.
What do you mean? Like, what did he win?
In general,
the Greater Kansas City Area Metro Championship?
Probably.
Did he win Missouri State titles? Did he swim for the Mizzou Tigers? Well, I don't know his Wikipedia. Guess what? I can look it up if I want to.
But
he doesn't need to tell me. Oh, of course he played soccer too. Oh, of course.
Your favorite sports?
Well, I don't mind it, but to tell people, oh, yeah, and I'm really good at swimming. Like, oh, great. I'm really good at BMX. Trust me on it.
What up, Challenge fans? We are Final Alliance Podcast. We are recapping episodes 1 and 2 of the Challenge All-Stars Season 3. Lots to talk about.
Yeah. This was interesting. It dropped at 2 a.m. like we talked about last week.
Right, so that was my biggest question. By the way, Sarah hanging out here with my good friend Jay as always. Follow us on all the things. Final Alliance 1 on Twitter, Final Alliance on YouTube, all the stuff. We'll talk about it later. I was concerned about when it was going to drop. I wasn't sure. Sure enough, woke up this morning, 6:30, sitting in my bed. It was there on Paramount. So that has me excited, but also kind of concerned because I had to stay off Twitter all day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want any spoilers.
I gotcha. You know, there's different schools of thought to this thing. Like when it drops at like 2 in the morning or 2 our time, we're in Central Standard Time. Basically, it's midnight on the West Coast. You know, school of thought is like some people still like appointment television, and it comes on at 7 o'clock every Wednesday or whatever else.
Right.
Now it's 2 o'clock, and now you can go about your day on Wednesday to do it. And we will, play catch up too as well. We're not going to watch at 2 a.m. Who knows? Maybe. But
over the summer, who knows? We'll find out.
But it's I thought maybe the Paramount Plus was going to do the thing where it's scheduled to drop at 7 Central Time, but it didn't. And they didn't do all the episodes; they just did 2. We knew that going into that there was going to be a 2-part episode. I was highly wrong about what episode 1 was going to be. I thought it was going to be more of a catch up.
Right?
Yeah.
We had 2 episodes. We had a challenge and an elimination in both episodes.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was thinking the exact same as you. I was thinking episode 1 is going to be light and fun. We're going to get to know them, see what they've been up to. There wasn't a whole lot of like catch up. Here's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Because most of the people have been on All Stars.
It was like the ones that you didn't know, like, your Ronnies or Cynthia, or the ones that you're like, and they acknowledge it. They're like, you have not seen me in 19 years. Like, I know, because I have no idea who you are, And there's just some, like, again, we talked about this last week. I let those seasons go, and I don't hold on to a lot. And a lot of it, I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. Now, obviously, when you have the strong personalities, the flashlight goes off right away. And then there's also ones where you're like, I don't really care for this competitor. And I don't know what it is. Sorry, Kellyanne. I don't know what it is. I didn't say anything last week, but I just don't have anything good to really say about her as a competitor. And it had to do something probably in past seasons. But like I said, there's nothing that I hang on to that I said, she did this X, Y, and Z, but I know it. It's like when you see, let's just say you're at a bar and you see someone across the bar and you're like, I know that person, but not in a good way.
Oh.
And so that's kind of where I was at with that. I could be wrong, and she could end up being a sweetheart of a competitor, and hopefully that's the case, but it was right away, and we didn't touch upon it too much last week, but I was just like, all right.
It's interesting you say that, because last week I called her mid-level.
Mm-hmm.
You said she was a firecracker. You'd kind of been like, oh, she's fun. She'll stand up for herself.
I think I was she does stand up for herself. But that's the thing. But I don't know the exact moment. Or maybe she said something bananas. You know me. But there's got to be something that she does stand up for herself. And there's got to be some type of controversy that I was like, she's on the wrong end of this. I don't know what it is, though. And I think I need to let that go. But really, truly, I know she stands up for herself. I know she does whatever else. And I think you're right, mid-level. I would have liked to see her get thrown in episode 2, but that's just me. But there is something there. She must have been on the wrong side of an argument that I thought.
So there was a situation long time ago where she had an argument with Anissa, and it was potentially racial, I feel like. And maybe that's what you're remembering.
Maybe.
But, I mean, they squashed it. Time has passed. All good. I actually liked her a lot in these episode 1 and 2. I found her, I don't know, I liked her. Like, especially, like, okay, so, and we'll talk about it later, but when they go to the bar and she makes friends with, like a random stray dog.
Yeah.
Like, that was so sweet. Like, I love that.
She looks different in every scene, too. And I know she was wearing a wig when Tyler was in there or whatever else, but
let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's talk about it.
She was fine when she was.
Her looks in the eliminations.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
It's a little like Peg Bundy.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's a stylish woman, so I'm curious if there was a thought process on these looks.
I don't know. Listen, I've got a lot of questions about a lot of things, and I didn't know this was going to be a Kellyanne podcast, but I have no idea what a coffee enema is. I have no idea what a chocolate. I have no idea what a chocolate enema is.
I've heard of a coffee enema. I feel like a chocolate enema. Was that a joke that Tyler made and she just didn't understand it was a joke, or maybe it is a thing. I don't know. I'm down for, like, let's try some holistic stuff and new things that you can do to be more healthy. So maybe there is a chocolate enema. Maybe we need to Google. Maybe we need to ask you guys. Yeah. Is that a thing?
Yeah. Is there is there a place and you have a menu of like, here's the different enemas you can have or do or whatever else? Or
maybe not around here.
Nah, I don't think so.
Go to Chicago.
I'm not going to look into it. I can tell you that right now. It's safe to say it will not be on my Google search. No, okay. That's right. Not that we're going to go through each other's Google search history. No one wants to see that, but it's not going to be on there. That one I can guarantee you. So anyway, again, Kellyanne, we can move on. But no, I will tell you this. Going up, throwing in Paramount Plus. If you guys don't have it, get it. You guys really need a password, hit a DM. I can probably get it to you. So I throw it on there, and it's like season, and I'm like right away, I'm like, here we go. All right, episode 1.
Exciting.
And I'm watching it. I'm like, wait a minute. We covered all this. Why is Anissa here? Why is this not? But there's one thing. And then
Anissa?
It just, for some reason, my Paramount Plus went to season 1, episode 1.
You know what?
Did yours too?
Yes.
I want to talk about something here that I found very, very interesting.
Okay.
In season 1, episode 1, TJ says something that we have never caught on to when describing the challenge. Okay?
Okay.
And it, again, it's far-fetched or whatever else, but there was a time back in the late 90s that the WWF, World Wrestling Federation, had to switch to WWE because they didn't want to pay a sports tax in the state of New Jersey. So they said, we are sports entertainment, and they now labeled themselves.
Solely because of the state of New Jersey.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
They didn't, because they were not going to have pay for this tax to have like live events.
Okay.
So they're like, if people will say like the World Wildlife Federation came after them, that's not really the case. Really is that. So they got labeled sports entertainment. They made that. I'd never heard this before. We never talk about it. But TJ says in episode 1 of season 1, this is the best competitive series on television. Competitive series. They are doing two things. They're saying we are a competitive sport.
Yes.
But we're also a series. We're entertainment. They've never labeled a challenge before. We've called it the 5th major sport in America.
Correct.
And we're not the first. Bill Simmons says it. Johnny Bananas always says it. Whatever else. And he's right. Sporting News is on sportingnews.com has said it as well. But competitive series. When I heard that, I was like, finally, we have a description of it. Why do you watch Challenge? It's a competitive series. What do you mean?
It's hard. Yeah, like when I'm like talking to a friend of mine and they're like, so tell us about your podcast. What's it about? And I'm like explaining the show and I'm like, well, it's like a competitive like sports reality show. Like it's hard to explain. Competitive series.
Just trademark that. And somehow now Paramount, why are you not making an entire like thing? Like they have Survivor, they have Big Brother, all these things on the Great American Race. Is that what it is? I think it is Great Race or
Amazing Race.
Amazing Race. You put that in a category, competitive series. You now have another reason on your streaming another thing that you want to look at. And maybe you're going to get other people to watch things because they like competitive series. I couldn't believe it. And that was what I really took away from. After that, after about 30, 40 seconds, I'm like, Nisa's not supposed to be here. And I was like, oh, man, I'm watching the wrong show.
That is strange, though. That is an interesting point because, say, on Netflix, I'm a big Ozark fan. It doesn't just start me back at episode 1 when the new series or new season drops. It remembers that I watch it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. But then again, like, and it's not like I didn't watch the other ones. I just flat out told you I watched them to a point, and I was like, meh, but I was too busy with the challenge and everything else. Now we're back to All-Star Season 3. We did this last week. Sorry to ring this all in. I'm sorry I went on a weird tangent, but
all good. That's what we're here for.
The cast is great, and they're
phenomenal.
Great. They're great when they appear on first time coming to the house.
The fact that they started it with Tina and Veronica walking into the house.
Oh yeah,
looking like queen bees.
Absolutely
ready to run it, all dressed up. Everybody was dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
Those two drinking champagne. Then Mark comes in. I'm like, yes, this is exactly how you start it with these. Like, that was enough to like get me really excited.
Sure.
Mark with the shoes, that was hilarious.
But that's what you need to realize, that's what makes this great. They're older, their egos are more in check, they're humble, and they understand things. Not only Mark with the shoes, and he's like, I'm wearing black on black on black because that's what a Godfather should do. But he's like, my shoes, the stickers are on there, and he's like, first time wearing them, like, we know. And Tina getting her heel stuck. So that, and they laugh about it. It's not like, oh, cut that or whatever else. You lose the ego when you get older. Exactly. You're humble, and you're like, of course I didn't take the stickers off.
Right before we see Tina's heel getting stuck, she's like, something along the lines of, is this door big enough for my ego?
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden her heel's stuck.
She gets stuck, and then you hear Veronica, why do you think I'm not down there? She's like, you dummy. She doesn't even help her. She's like, yeah, I'm not going down there.
Wedges, girl.
Yeah, I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there. So she's like, good luck with that. Yeah, no, that's what I liked about the whole thing. And everyone coming in was great. And we talked about everybody, but I don't know.
Yes, looked like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The tan suit and the is that a fedora? It's not a fedora. Whatever. He had 3 hats today in 2 episodes that I noticed. He likes hats. My sister likes hats, so I noticed people that really like hats.
I don't know what type of hat that was.
Because then later he had a black one, and then during the elimination he had I don't know, trucker hat ish, but it was, I don't know, looked something fancy like Gucci or something.
Did anybody else, they're coming into the house, did you think anything of it? Like, did anyone else take you off? I mean, they did a great job. Like you already mentioned, Tina and Veronica. That was a good moment to have those two, and then to have Mark come in, and it's almost like they're ushering you into the season, and they picked 3 great personalities to kind of do it.
Yes.
So,
well, and then they had the winners all strolling together. They had the Austin people all strolling together.
Right. Yeah.
Nehemiah said daddy's home.
Yeah.
And then we go into all the people talking about Wes.
Yes.
So we got Darrell saying,
so when I said 23 people don't like Wes, dude, they all, yeah. This is where, by the way, that's the situation. You remember the Michael Jordan documentary, the Chicago Bulls
Last Dance?
That's where you give that iPad to Wes and his reaction to people, because they kind of did it because he was laughing,
and they're saying it,
but it's not like the producers were sitting there like, and they said this or whatever else. He's just laughing because he knows like what they're saying about him, and it just like add laugh. But just to see him, to watch that and just be like, yep. Yeah, that's what I would have enjoyed.
Kayla saying like, don't know if I can trust him. You got Darrell saying Rumpelstiltskin. You have Jemmy saying he's like a used car salesman.
Used car salesman. Yep.
Like scammy.
Yeah, I mean, it even goes further in the episode where Melinda's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a target on my back. And then again, I don't know if I'm working with him. I don't understand this guy. Right. I don't know if I am working with him or if I'm not. I don't know where it's coming. And flat out, he's all over the place. So I don't know.
He was in episode 1, 80% of what we saw in interviews, I feel like. Okay. People talking about him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say he won episode 1.
How's that?
Everybody's talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
he won the challenge.
Okay. So he had sabotage. He's on the authority. I can co-sign that. And I do also like that he let the first authority kind of do its thing so that the next time he knows how these things go. And I think he's laying the seeds to be like, no, we did it that way last time when we did the bottom ones, and it didn't really work out or whatever. He did say when he's like, my man here, my boss, MJ,
right,
said a name, and I'm not too, and he's flirting with Jordan. So, but he went with the plan that they wanted to go with, and I think that's just laying the groundwork for the season. So I don't disagree with that for the men. And since we're on that, then I think it's Tina. One episode 1.
I'm gonna give her episode 2.
Okay, fair. Yeah, she's just a strong personality.
Oh,
she came
and
across
I'm
in both.
enjoying the heck out of her. She's so fun to watch. We do see this Nia and Jordan. I don't know that they're together. I think that
they're
they
together.
have. Do you think?
The photos
I saw
are there.
the photos and stuff.
She said to him when they're by the poolside when he's sweating buckets. She said, "Are you ready to get down on a knee right now here?"
I don't know. I feel like it's more of a friendship. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm just not getting like super romantic vibes. But some people just aren't like super publicly affectionate.
Well, maybe he's a change. He says he's changed. He's a different person. Maybe he doesn't want to be on camera the way he was with
Tori.
Thank you. See, I forget these names, everybody.
Yeah. We talked about her like a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I do think that their story is interesting, that they had all these problems, that, things got kind of real, and reconnected, and that's cool.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. You might be right, but maybe they're just hiding it. Maybe they're just like, we don't want it to be on camera. We want this to stay organic the way it was. The rekindled relationship, friendship or not, or if it's more romantic, maybe they just want to keep it that way and keep it off the camera. And that's their right. For
Absolutely.
If I have to guess, I'm guessing they're romantic. So,
well, and to agree with your point, both her and Jordan were at Cam and Leroy's baby shower.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. We'll see. Derek, there was not really a speech, but like Derek kind of was like.
I was waiting for it. Derek took the speech. It was not a good speech.
It was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted a Johnny Bananas speech, but
yeah.
Without Johnny Bananas, you're not really going to get a Johnny Bananas speech. Nehemiah did a good job last season. We just, and Anissa did it for 37. We just got like a yay, cheers. Cool.
Yeah, give me something. Make a poem up or something. I don't know. You gotta. I was gonna say you got time off, but they don't really have a lot of time in between each one of these. So, yeah.
Challenge starts. TJ says it's an individual game, which I'm so here for. Love an individual game. Competing for $500,000, so $250 each. This was tunnel vision, 2 rounds. It's a 4x4 memory pattern, different colors, whatever. You got to look through a tunnel in the wall. Everybody's got to look through the same tunnel and then duplicate it exactly. The men were much more aggressive with it. The women were incredibly courteous to each other. Winners safe. Losers go straight into elimination.
Yeah.
As all this is happening, we're getting a lot of screen time from Cyrus. Looks freaking great.
Yeah.
Charming as heck. He ends up losing. Which I called. Well, I called him going into the first elimination. I didn't know if it was going to, like, how it was going to go. Love his energy. It just, yeah. And then Wes wins.
Yeah. And then, the thing is, Wes wins, yes, gets second, and he's fine with that. Yes does say, don't want to be the first, but I do want to be second. Not in the first challenge. But Wes says, I see yes, just like staring at me or whatever else. And yes, it's like, I didn't want to win. I'm fine with being on, I don't think he knew at the time the authority, But it was kind of interesting just to be like, for Yes, just to be like, I don't want to be one, but I still want everyone to know that objects and mirrors are closer than they appear. So I'm second, and he's a quiet assassin.
Do you think he purposely got second?
He let it that way. Wes tells you otherwise, that he was like seething by the way he's looking at me. He's like, calm down. I don't really know if that's true, but it was an interesting challenge. We talk quite a bit about whether you'd like to do it. Not really for me. I don't know how I would have done memory-wise or whatever else and been like, well, there's 2 cats or 2 monkeys and one's upside down, the tail goes left and right, and it's in orange. I don't know how I would do with that. I enjoyed, I think it was Tina that said that, like, they look like boys looking through a peephole at the strippers or whatever else. That was
cute. Kayla's line was funny because she's young. I think she's the youngest. And she said something along the lines of, I hope these women brought their readers.
Oh, yeah. I do remember saying that. Yeah, she goes, I'm younger than them, yeah. So some are going to need that. So
it was playful and it was cute.
Yeah, and then Sylvia kills it, right?
Yes.
I mean, everyone's like, what? How fast that was. First time, first check, everything else. So.
And I've been rooting for her, so I was so happy that she won this first one. Cynthia lost.
Mm-hmm.
And Cynthia was getting like some great screen time, and I was really enjoying her, and I'm like, just getting to know you, and you're great, and
yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, I was like, I remember you. Yeah, I do remember you. Okay, let's move on.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So the
top 3, yeah.
It's the Authority is the top 3. So, or if you're top 3 women, top 3 men, you become the Authority. So it's Kellyanne, Veronica, Sylvia, Yes, MJ, and Wes. Then they vote in 2 people.
And like we said, they just went with the.
They did the. It's the right choice. It's the easy choice.
Mm-hmm.
It as a Tina fan and a Veronica fan, it didn't seem like Veronica really fought hard to keep her, but at the same point,
she did nothing.
We're very early in the game.
Tyler butters her up the night before, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, wouldn't you think about who you want to have around, like to party with? Yeah. That's all she kept saying. Yeah. And he's like, well, think about it. You don't need to throw me in. Like, I would get like second or third, and they kept throwing me in, and it wasn't very fair. Yeah. She didn't do anything. It's one thing if she's sitting there and she's like, listen, I'm going to fight for Tina, but I can't. I thought she was going to say, obviously, Tina's my ride or die.
Right.
But I can't stick my neck out for Tyler, too. I have to pick one or the other.
Right.
She didn't do it for either one of them. She goes.
She's had to weigh it out.
Okay. Sounds good.
I liked the top she was wearing in that, by the way. It's nice. The white.
What?
She was wearing a pretty top, and it's white, and it hit really nice on the sleeves. It was very flattering.
All right.
That's what I got from her in the Authority was I liked her top.
That's great.
Because, yeah, she it wasn't important for her at that point to fight for her people because...
Are you going to tell me that Veronica won episode 1?
No, Wes won episode 1.
No, but I'm talking about for the girl. If there was a female version, I know I'm fine with Wes winning. When I said like Tina won that, I feel like you're going to tell me, and I don't think Veronica won episode 1.
Then I would say Tina.
Okay, yeah. Then no, I get what you're saying. We're looking at overall who got episode. I'm looking at the men's side and the women's side. Yeah, I expected more out of Veronica. I really did. Pot stirring wise,
I think she's going to give us what we want, but she needs to make sure she's nice and safe for a little bit.
And on top of it, maybe I have a different memory of Veronica. I know she's a finalist in something. I don't know. And maybe
she's a 3-time winner.
What?
It was back when it was teams.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's what I was going to say. Unfortunately, sorry, Veronica. I was going to say who carried her to the thing. I'm shocked that she got in the top 3. So I just don't really look at her more as a competitor as I do a social game.
Yes.
And she even said that too. She mentioned it at the beginning of the episode that she's like, I have a great social game.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, remember when she turned that vote like with Leroy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, going back to, I just don't know. I stick your neck out. She didn't do any of it. Wes just kind of let it go to the wayside. He didn't, even though he told us ahead of time, like, I'm going to, play a sloppy game.
There was a lot of speculation from, like, Mark and a couple other people, like, is he going to make a big move? We know him and Jordan don't see eye to eye. We know that he's, I don't know if I want to say threatened by Jordan, but Jordan's a good competitor. He is very open about saying that about him. but he didn't go for it. He was like, this is same as Veronica. It's, we're playing the long game here.
Sure. I guess, but I think it's filmed in a short amount of time.
Yeah, the long game here in 10 episodes.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we'll keep going, but I didn't really like Tyler's response to the news, to be honest with you.
Why?
Well, why make MJ feel guilty? I'd be like, I love you, MJ, but, I kind of thought better than this of you than to be like, well, you were second to last.
Mm-hmm.
So, really,
it's
it's
so
okay.
polite waiting his turn to see.
Yeah, but I'm like,
Tina
it's
called them.
like, you're
You
second
know, it
to
sucks,
last.
though.
I feel like it.
True, but I mean, these people have relationships with each other and have been on seasons with each other in the past. So it's like, yeah, maybe you sucked or just finished at the end, but you thought your friend was, going to save you and didn't. I can understand him being frustrated.
But how
you had said last episode that Tyler is the good competitor that gets overlooked all the time.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah, he didn't perform well.
No.
And it just happened again. They were like, Mert.
Yeah, what did that guy say? What did Nehemiah say? That working out or whatever else, and the Diet Cokes are catching up to you or whatever else, Yeah,
I don't even understand what that means.
But, yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. When you're saying that they're friends, but they're also the quickest to be in front of and I always call it confessional, but one-on-one camera time to be like, and I'm coming back in the house and I'm coming to kick ass. Everyone's going to know not to put my name in their mouth. And you're like, wait, you just were like, wait, we're best friends. You didn't fight for me. Now you're turning like it's how quick things can turn in the challenge house. So.
And there's people who are friendly via the challenge. Like Tina had said, like, we were close back in the day, haven't been close since, but in this house you become closer quicker. Yeah. Then there's people like Nehemiah and Wes that are like ride or dies. Mm-hmm. Like there's different levels. Like that's like really his best friend.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like my point is I agree with you. Yeah, they're cool with each other, whatever. He didn't like that he was voted in.
That's a game. Someone's gonna have to be voted in. Someone's gonna. And by the way, so let's go to the challenge quick because if you can explain to me what the stars thing is, then I would love that, and I hope everyone else would love that too, because I don't think we know what's going on, but you might know more than me.
So, as far as the elimination and what like.
Yeah, I mean, because Tyler's going in and
Tyler's going in against Cyrus, and then Tina's going in against Cynthia.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool elimination. Freaking love it. It's crawl brawl.
Would you like that?
I mean, to do it? No, I wouldn't like it.
No.
Seems really hard and super claustrophobic.
Yeah, and I'm not claustrophobic.
But I think I would rather do that than just like run as fast as I can at someone and like break myself.
Okay, that's fair. Because we both don't like the hall brawl. We don't like the
crawl
hall
brawl. Okay,
and they were all pretty good about it. But when they got to that sand in the middle and they had to, I was like, no. That's where I would like, my heart would start racing and be like the
claustrophobia.
And I'm not claustrophobic, but I just would feel like no, I'm never getting out of here. Like there's no however.
Well, and potentially if the person you're against happens to be at the same point as you, then you're like digging opposite way. Like,
I don't know how many excuse me's I could get out. Just be like, I'm sorry, excuse me.
It's like me at a concert. Pardon me, excuse me, pardon me.
I'm just gonna squeeze through right here. Is that like, good luck to you? Yeah. Oh, good luck to you though. And don't mind this 5-pound sack I have to drag behind me too once I finally get
probably gonna hit
through.
you in the face.
Yeah. I appreciate it. All right. Good luck to you though. See you in about 3 minutes. Same thing's gonna happen.
Do it again.
Don't mind me. Same thing. Hey, how you doing? I just gotta squeeze by.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. It's just it was just too that everything else I saw right away. I'm like, oh, it's cool. And then when I saw the sand in the middle, I'm like, no. But it was an interesting, the arena. That's what they call it, right?
It's the arena.
So, it was good.
Not mad at it. Tina wins and Cyrus wins.
Mm-hmm.
Was surprised by Cyrus. Tyler had some carabiner problems.
Yeah.
These freaking carabiners. Last season, same thing with Leah.
Yeah. chalk that one up to being like their sand got in it somewhere or whatever else, and I don't know. But
happy for Cyrus. Terribly sad that Tyler's going home. By the way, remember when Tyler told us about all the injuries he had in his elimination, the pole wrestle with Latyrian?
Fractured his wrist, 2 ribs broken.
I think it was 3 ribs
broken, and then
his diaphragm moved in his body. He's like, it moved inside me.
Yeah, like, all right. No, that doesn't sound like too much fun. Yeah, he really got beat up. But
so Tyler went home. Cynthia went home. TJ tells us about this star thing.
Yeah, this is the thing that we're gonna have to keep watching week to week.
Everybody has one. Once you win an elimination, you get what, the way I understood it, whatever, how many ever stars they had.
Yeah,
you get.
Know. Yeah.
So like if you take out 3 people and I beat you, I get your 3 stars.
Is that for?
That's what I think.
That's what I feel too, but I don't know if that was confirmed. I don't know.
Is it stars? I feel like
they're stars.
Okay,
it's all stars, and just also reminds me.
Oh, makes sense.
Sneetch's Dr. Seuss, which is one of my favorite Dr. Seuss books. But it's again like
It's gonna mean something in the final.
It's kind of like the when you had the skull on the helmet, right?
Skull you had to have to get to the final.
You had to have one. Okay. But you could, if you beat someone, you got their skull, right?
If you were at that point in the game where there were no skulls left, you could steal a skull.
Gotcha. So that's what if it starts.
So maybe it's going to be like that, or it's just going to be something in your favor in the final. That's what I think. Something in your favor in the final.
There's a lot of moving parts to this.
Oh yeah, season. I feel like maybe they're figuring it out as they go.
Authority, sabotage, and stars.
Oh yeah, and the sabotage, right?
Yeah.
So then you sabotage someone, you win. Then next challenge, you get to sabotage somebody.
Not get to, you have to.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big difference.
And you don't know what the sabotage is, so
no.
You just have to like put it all out there.
Yeah,
I feel like later you're gonna like sabotage your friend or something to like not get as much blood on your hands, you think? Or do you just always go for like your enemy?
Well, you don't want to put a target on your back or whatever else, but you also kind of want to be like, well, I don't want this person to win and be an authority. And I guess we'll get into it when we get into the second episode of how they do it for the next shot. And I did really, really enjoy the challenge in the next episode. So I thought that was good.
Oh, yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So I think Wes won.
I'm with you. If we're just going overall and we're not giving categories to male or females, I think, yeah, I think he did. Wes won it.
Who lost the episode?
Who lost the episode?
Veronica.
Yeah. And I know what, that's why I think I was like so quick to be like, are you going to tell me that you won it? She just didn't do what I thought she would do. She didn't go to bat for Tina. I'm not saying she had to go to bat for Tyler, but you know, we talk a lot about the producers foreshadowing. I think we will talk about foreshadowing in episode 2. But you thought with that conversation, she would be like, I have to stick my neck out for one. And like and I know I'm repeating myself, but she said, I'm loyal to Tina. And that's when I thought I was going to be like, I'm going to have to throw him. I'm going to have to give the authority what they want, but I'm going to stick my neck out this way. And she didn't. She just didn't. And that's something that might end up biting her in the rear end in the end.
I think so. I did like what Tina had to say where she was like, cool. She said it was freeing.
Yeah.
That Veronica essentially took the first shot.
Yeah, because now she doesn't feel like she has to stay loyal to her and protect her.
I liked that. Anything cringe-worthy?
I'm going to wear black on black because I'm the Godfather. But it's just me.
Do we need a moment on this Godfather thing?
We can go more than a moment.
Part of me is just, do I just get in and fully embrace, we're calling Mark the Godfather, he created the show, and we're just going with it, like how Johnny transitioned to Johnny Bananas and then just Bananas? Or do I hang out with it's a little annoying, and should we make a tally and have it like be a drinking game? That's where I'm at.
That's a really good point. All right. I don't know I feel like the first time was brought up was something to do in season 1 of the Challenge All Stars, and he would have been one of the first couple challenges, and then you had to go and state your case why not to get thrown in. And Derek was over the top, being like, "You have to go talk to Godfather."
I remember that.
I think I'm still on the fence about Mark because I think he gave himself the nickname Godfather, and that annoys me when people give themselves their own nickname. So unless like everyone came through and they were like,
let's like people tell us, where did the nickname the Godfather come from? Yeah. Like, is it, was it like a Challenge Mania thing?
Not a bad idea. I think instead of being negative, maybe we should embrace it as a drinking game.
Right?
Like, like how many...
Like, we'll make a tally.
Yeah, and...
Obviously, like, be responsible,
Yeah, but I mean, like, but we can do it at a certain point of the show and be like, at minute 24 and 15 seconds, you would be legally drunk because they've said it by now, And so let's look at it that way. And, like, when would you be over the limit because you've taken a shot every time he said Godfather? And we'll do it that way. Because
these 2 episodes, you'd be drunk.
Yeah, because
like,
I don't
want to, very drunk.
I don't want to. I think it's too easy to throw out negativity. I don't understand where it came from. Or not that I don't understand. I don't know where it came from. Like you said, maybe they'll be able. The fans out there will be able to tell us. Like,
I'd love to hear.
It came up this way. Derek on Twitter, maybe he's got a podcast too. We'll figure it out with him. But that's the thing. It's just so that's kind of where I get with Mark about the whole thing, and that's cringeworthy for me. And I did notice things on the bottom of the shoes, but guess what? It was hard to do because the camera like went right to it.
Well, his feet were up in the bed.
Yeah.
I found that incredibly charming though, because obviously you're going to be on TV. You're going to buy new clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like going to a wedding. Like, you're probably going to have a new dress, and like women, we've all been there where you're like in a situation and you're like, oh, the tag, we're just gonna, So it was cute and charming.
Like I said, it's humbling, and he came right back to his one-on-one time with the camera, and he goes, classy, after he just did the build-up of being. So that's what I liked about him. But again, right away, I was like, I don't know. What do you have for, like, cringeworthy?
Really not a whole lot.
There are times, though, like,
it's not like Challenge proper where we have like these moments where you're like, ooh,
yeah,
because like
I think it will get there when the game starts. They'll pop out, but honestly, Wes kind of just almost majority of the time he is. It's almost like, oh yeah, these people all fear me.
I love him, and
I know you love him,
but it was a bit much for me this episode as well. It was a bit much.
I tried to think about this earlier today when I was watching the show and what really drives me nuts about Wes. And I think I figured it out. And again, I know I just said I don't want to be negative or whatever else, but here I am again.
I'm so intrigued.
There's no doubt, I'll be the first to tell you, that one of the most mentally strong sports out there is swimming, okay?
Absolutely.
Stare at the bottom of a pool for 2 hours, I don't want to do it. Do not want to do it.
No.
But when you tell me that you're a really good swimmer, now all of a sudden I'm annoyed.
So it's any sport.
But Wes is very much like, I'm a great swimmer. Like,
he is.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in comparison, but to these people, for sure.
What do you mean? Like, what did he win?
In general,
the Greater Kansas City area Metro Championship?
Probably.
Did he win Missouri State titles? Did he swim for the Mizzou Tigers? Well, I don't know his Wikipedia. Guess what? I can look it up if I want to. But he doesn't need to tell me. Oh, of course he played soccer too. Oh, of course.
Your favorite sports.
Well, I don't mind it, but to tell people, oh, yeah, and I'm really good at swimming. Like, oh, great. I'm really good at BMX. Trust me on it.
I think I get what you mean. Like, anybody who's always talking about how great they are, like, in life, that's frustrating. On television, like, you're making something about it.
Swimming or soccer, those two. When you tell me that, those two, that's where it gets it. Yeah.
But what we've seen within the challenge over the years is it is absolutely to your benefit to be a good swimmer, because there's a lot of not great swimmers.
Okay. That's very true. I agree with that. I don't need that, by the way. I'm a really good swimmer. you like get beat by people, he has been beaten, and he's like, there are times. Again, I know I've said like I forget things, but there's been times he's been beat in the water, and he's like, I can't believe I got beat. I'm a really good swimmer. So he's been beat in other challenges where they've been in the water for things.
See, just like you forget things, I forget that. I'm like, someone beat him in swimming?
Oh, yeah, it happened. Anyway, he's a really good swimmer. That's what I was telling you, though. Like, I was trying to figure out what... It doesn't bother me.
I wonder what his soccer position was. Probably like midfield, I feel like. Like, lots of passing.
Something I don't understand. Like striker. Or, like, good kicker or something. I don't know. Just enough to just really tweak me that I'm just like,
you made me do the old person
It's just something that's just going to tweak to where I'm just like, I cannot handle this. I can't. He's going to at J_Foss. I was a forward.
No, he doesn't. He tends to not respond to us. It's unfortunate.
Well,
we applied to be on his, or to have him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we applied for an interview with him, and we didn't get it, unfortunately.
And he said he'd be willing to do... Hey, by the way...
He did other podcasts, just not ours. He didn't pick us.
That's all right. By the way, those people that are just like, hey, I'm just going to do this, sometimes end up being some of the worst guests. And I know that by history. So we're probably better off.
If he sees this and changes his mind.
Sure, we can talk swimming.
And soccer.
Yeah. That'd be great. And he can tell me how great he is. And I'd be like, all right. And I think...
He is great, though. Like, he is great. He's great.
He
TV.
sounds like a great guy. He seems great.
I can't.
I know he's your guy, but he's a great
He's my guy. I will give you, like...
I hope
this episode one, like...
I hope he wins the whole thing. I really do. Because you need someone like this to carry this. And I know this is a great cast. It really is. And we've said enough about it. And they're loaded. But you do want that anti-hero to win, because it's just going to be like, oh my God, well, season 4, someone's got to take Wes out. You know, like, then you bring
okay, I get you.
or anybody or CT or I don't care. But I do hope he wins. Because he actually does. You're right. He won episode 1, and I think he's going to probably end up winning the season, not by winning the $500,000, but overall, because everybody, name me another competitive series challenger that everybody, male and female, is so consumed with.
That's a good point.
The females all love CT. You have Uncle CT or whatever else. The other ones are all like, oh, Bananas is just nuts or whatever else. He just gets in their business. He gossips just about as bad as they do.
Everybody's got to talk about.
Everybody is like, you got to watch out for this guy.
It's a really good point.
They don't even have to go against him. They're probably running with him final. But the females are like, we don't even know where we stand, period, in this guy. And they're all going to end up making an alliance with him.
Of course.
Great guy. I'm telling you, he is great for this show. He knows what he's doing. He is great for this show. It wouldn't, honestly, if Wes is out there, this challenge wouldn't be where it's at right now without Wes being on there. So
agreed, 100%.
This is our, let's just ballpark, 20th probably podcast.
I think it's our 24th.
He belongs in the Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. Hey,
done.
Finally.
I absolutely agree with it. This challenge, the show would not be where it is without Wes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, there's our Wes moment.
I feel like we've spent all this time talking about Wes, talking about Kellyanne, and really we need to move into episode 2 because there was like a lot to talk about.
It's all my fault. I went on these weird tangents. So yes.
And I liked it. Yeah. I mean, me too, a little bit. Kind of been bouncing around.
And we actually got to watch the end of episode 2 together. And there was some foreshadowing there that was very, very obvious that we missed.
Are we talking about the thing with where we see bananas?
Oh, but now we're kind of dibbling. We're going back into episode 1 and into episode 2. Yeah, they did. Obviously, in every episode 1, they kind of give you this season on the challenge.
Right.
We talked about that. Last week, we said someone's probably going to get hurt. I'm positive it's MJ, but I also think a female gets hurt too.
I hope not, but. And
they give the illusion that Johnny Bananas is coming back.
Right, which I told you earlier, I think that is a video conversation. Like, it's like a, I don't know, FaceTime call.
Yeah.
Just, because, they're besties now. Last time we saw them on the challenge together, at least. Just him calling his homie.
Yeah, and tell him whatever else. Or I don't think Bananas is coming in, but I don't honestly. My
It'd be
predictions.
great,
I don't
but
think
no.
MJ's making it this season, and I don't know what female is going to end up going home. But no, what we're talking about the foreshadowing is who goes into the elimination for the men in the end of episode 2, and the producers. This is how we didn't get this. Producers will do this. And remember you just said about episode 1 with Cyrus. You gotta see it. Pay attention to what they're doing. They'll give you the little bits to follow the trail home.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark talking to his mom, we should have saw this coming.
I did say in our preview episode that I didn't really have a connection to Mark other than like he got this done.
Mhm.
He's from Road Rules 1. The conversation with his mom who has lung cancer, that did, make me feel a certain type of way. And it did make me feel closer to him and root for him.
Yeah.
But I agree that was
I
foreshadowing for
I love
the elimination later.
The way he talks to her, everything else, and the relationship they have, and when he says like she is my very favorite person on this earth, like it was great. But I guess I was just like, when we watched the end of it, I'm like, oh, I should have saw this coming. Not in a bad way, but like I know the recipe for the show better than this, and it just was like, oh.
And we've seen this in shows before where you see the phone call and you're like, oh, that's meaning something really important is going to happen later, probably an elimination, win or loss.
Yeah. And again, going back to it, the whole thing, the whole cancer thing, it sucks. She's fought for 2 years, stage 4, and it's good for him that he can fight. That she gets so much enjoyment out of watching him. Fight's not the word. She's in a fight. She's in a battle. Up to the challenge, and so I'm glad that he gets to do it.
Absolutely, it was cute seeing like her and like the We Want OGs shirt and stuff. Like that was awesome. That was really awesome, and we're praying for you.
Absolutely,
rooting for you. We have this cute interaction with Tina and Melinda. We see that Melinda has a bum ankle. She's got it wrapped. And Tina's like, girl, we're old. Like, you got to start doing the kitten heels, which are like the shorter heels, like flats.
Yeah.
She's like, kind of like, I'm going to walk like you. And she's like, I'm not bow-legged. Like, it was cute. And like, you see, like, they have this relationship. And we saw a little bit of their friendship kind of building on last season when, Tina was like, super irritated about getting into elimination, and Melinda's like, would you like some green tea?
Yeah.
So also foreshadowing.
Sure.
Going to the challenge, we see TJ in some what I'm calling a vacation chic button up.
The dude,
you know what I'm seeing? It's like
can we just say he wins every episode? He bet TJ wins this episode too. By the way,
so good. Oh, it was so good.
Remember we talked about what Jay's crush is going to be? It's just TJ. I don't even know why I play this game.
He looks so good. He looks like more attractive.
It's impossible. I don't know how he does it.
Well, it's the warm weather. It's the cold weather. It's hard. Like you're all like dry and
stuff.
But
he's got that when he's I'm not even gonna lie. When he's got that parka on or whatever else, or he just wears like a skull cap.
He does rock.
He knows what he's doing
well. I like him in the vacation chic, like looking like he's at a resort going to dinner.
Because he is, He doesn't have to live in the house. He gets to hang out with everybody, do whatever he wants. Yeah. So
it is out of reach. Basically a swing set above the water. You gotta get enough momentum, kick off a key, drop it in the water, open your stuff, solve a puzzle. Your puzzle is a star.
I thought it was cool.
I liked it.
The sabotage finally comes in. Hey, you have to do something.
Oh, right.
Sylvia has to go first. And she throws it to Kellyanne's way because she said, because you were the next runner up since we went bottom to go in there.
I thought it was a good perspective.
She was going to do it anyway. She had already alluded to it.
Had she?
Yeah, because she had said like it could be Kendall, or it could be Kellyanne, And so she kind of alluded to it. She kind of compared the two of them. I don't know if the comparison was fair, but not a big deal in either here nor there. So she sent it that way. Kellyanne was a little bit kind of thrown off from it. And then Wes throws it at Jordan. And
Very obvious.
it was one of those things. He's just like, this could come back to bite me in the rear end. Jordan is just not the one that you do that to, because that is fanning the flames of competitiveness in him.
He is the type of person that is motivated by that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're exactly fan the flame.
Yeah.
Like you are just going to give him that much more power. He's not going to get discouraged by it and be like, oh, shucks.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go.
And Wes says for a decade, he's been kicking our ass.
They showed it.
For a decade, learn what's going on. Like Josh, they did show it, and they showed the tug of war. And Josh thought because of his hand, and you guys know it, Jordan's hands is a little not deformed. If that's the right word or whatever else. But he did it in a tug of war with basically one hand. And the other things they showed, he was doing it with one really good hand. And so 10 years of him kicking your ass, 10 years of you not paying attention, that this is going to motivate him.
He's smart. He's strong. He's like,
it wasn't.
I don't want to say like new school Wes, because they're different as far as how they do the game, but like they are adjacent to each other.
The only way to break Jordan's game is to do it socially in the house. In the house, socially. That's how you break Jordan. You get him to break socially.
That's true.
Not in the competitive world at all. Not in the arena, not in the challenges or anything like that. You get him in the house. And for Wes just to be like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have thrown it at definitely someone else. I probably would have thrown it at Brad. He's a beast. Would have thrown it at Mark.
I'm sorry. Did you say Brad was good?
He's a beast. Look at him. I mean, he is cut as can be. So is Mark, though, for that age.
Yes.
Not say Jordan isn't, not say Wes isn't, not say they're all great. So they all are really up to the challenge. I mean, they're up to this for being all-stars, and to throw it at, I just think it's a wrong move to throw it at Jordan, to be honest with you. That's all.
Well, and it didn't work. Jordan was, I think, the first. No, Derek was the first.
Derek was the first, yeah.
And I thought going into this that height was going to be a factor. Because I've always said Derek is agile AF. His agility is just off the charts, and that is his biggest strength. Right away, first guy.
At
least in the first heat.
And we said it earlier. I said earlier, we talk about, would you like to do this? We like to do this. And of course, right away, I was like, I'd like to do this swing. But the crazy thing that I can just think of is like they didn't factor in like my height into this, because probably every producer that does it, because we always talk about they do it ahead of time. Like my little leg's probably still trying to kick this thing as it goes up, and it's like just whiffing the entire time, like there, like, and just looking at TJ like it's never gonna connect. It's so might as well give me the 20 minutes. You haven't even
started swinging yet. You're just like,
no, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I am there. The ball's there, but there's my little leg just kicking, and it's like still over here. Like you're just not tall enough, kid. It's never working.
But it wasn't a factor. Like Darrell struggled.
Yeah, to get the swing going.
I started to wonder if, based on weight differentiation in that, if that was a factor.
I don't
because
think
it seemed the second person in for the men struggled every time. I don't know if it's a thing. I don't know if it's not a thing. I do know this show is not technically called a game show. It's called a reality show. Because it doesn't necessarily always have to be fair.
Series.
It's competitive series.
Yeah, there you go.
But because of that, it doesn't have to necessarily always be fair. So my thought process with this is maybe there's something having to do with the weight differentiation. It seemed like the person...
So you're saying the way it was built, they took away like.
Okay.
I love that we're. I love that we're a podcast. I know we're on YouTube, but we all have we are like basically Top Gun. They were inverted in this way, and no one
on Spotify we have video now too. By the way,
okay, good. But anyway, that's what's going on. Like we're inverted anyway. But
so it seemed looking at it, the far right struggled.
Yeah.
the like second in from the left always did well. I don't
That's
know if
where
that's a
Derek
thing.
was.
I don't know if it was.
Derek was in the far left though, on the first spot, right?
No.
He was the second one in.
Second in from the right.
Listen,
I don't know. I don't know if it means anything. I don't know if it doesn't mean anything.
I'm still stuck on my little legs kicking and not getting to the ball.
Well, they did. I think Brad said or someone said, do the wee legs. Like when they were like really going like to kick it, like do the wee legs, which meant like really put your feet up.
Yeah.
And then that would be
swing. I don't know. It's a swing. Who hasn't done a swing? If they're like, oh.
So we have to talk about Tina.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
She just, they pull the lever and she just went instantly forward.
Yeah, the 20-minute mark or whatever? Or
No.
What are you talking about?
She pulled and instantly went forward and was like stuck there.
Why did I miss this part?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
she was like, everyone's trying to swing and she's like upside down.
Okay.
Just like sitting there and she's like, I know I'm top heavy. I didn't know I was that top heavy. She ends up having to fall, so she's DQ'd.
Oh, gotcha. That's why she got there. Yeah, I must have just skipped over, fast forward that
and
part.
And TJ was so cute about it. TJ was like, just very playful with her. And he's like, Tina, like, what was that? And she's like, I was the first in the water.
So, yeah.
Like, I love, we saw it last season. We're seeing it this season. How playful he is, specifically with her. Like, there's certain people that you can like joke with, and he knows he can joke with her, and that makes it all the more fun. Like when he called her loudmouth last season. I live for that. I love that. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree with that, and it'll come up later in the arena how much fun that he has with her, and they have together, and there's no like hard feelings or like whatever else. Like they do have a good relationship, and that's what I like.
And it's the old school, So the winners are Wes and Kendall. The authority is Jordan, John-A, Brad, and Kayla.
Okay.
Funny moment where Jordan says all like, you made me a star, like you did this, and the whole thing. Wes kisses his hand.
Yeah.
Group goes to an actual bar.
Uh-huh.
That's the first time in a while.
Yeah.
That was really freaking exciting.
Which is great that they do that, because obviously we had the COVID time, and we're like, oh, and it seemed like when we talked about this last season, when we covered this, like we just missed those interactions where it just seems like they're kind of just them, and even like the
in a created bar or whatever.
But the dancing's in slow motion only because they're trying to create more time for the show. So no, I'm glad that they got to go out.
Mentioned this earlier. Kellyanne finds a dog at the bar,
Yep.
Which I've been that person on vacation before when I'm like, oh, I miss my dog.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
And she says she wants to build, like, if she were to win the money, open like an animal sanctuary.
Oh, can I also tell you that I do not care at all what people do with the money what they're going to do with it when they win? It's probably
I think you've said that before.
It's my least favorite segment. What they're going to do with the money, I could care less. I actually, what's her name who won last year?
She's like, I'll just put it with the rest of my money.
Bank account. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you're going to do with it. You're going to put it in the bank. That's the most realistic answer ever. Instead of like, I'm going to teach people about financial freedom. What? That's Nehemiah. That's what you're gonna do? I think it's great that you have aspirations. Well, financial freedom. So are you just gonna wipe out my debt and then be like, hey, start over? I'm gonna teach you how to not acquire any debt. Just you pay for my debt, Nehemiah. That'd be great. I don't care what they're going to do with it. I really don't. I like just putting it in an account.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I like it if it continues their story to me. Like, you don't have to have like a sad story, but if it's going to continue my relationship building with you, sure. Like, I see that she likes animals. She's telling me.
Do you want me to text you every other Friday what I'm going to do with the paycheck that I get? I mean, this is their job. Is this going to continue our relationship? Like, guess what I'm going to do with this today, this paycheck that I'm going to do? Be like, because I want to build our relationship more. Let you know what I'm doing with this small amount of money that they just gave
You know
to
what?
me.
Every GoFundMe, just go ahead and just send me a text. We're good.
Here's what I'm doing with it. All right. But anyway,
Any
sorry,
like
I just
kid
don't care.
fundraiser, go ahead and just send me a text. I'll be happy.
$500,000 would do for me. Probably a lot. I guess sounds good. I'm going to build. No, just move on. Okay, sorry. This is why this podcast goes long, because I just start talking about dumb things. So.
John A. asks Tina who she wants.
Mm-hmm.
John A. is now a winner. She's the reigning winner.
Yeah.
She is expecting some respect on her name.
Yeah.
Tina's not going to give it.
No.
In no way.
Yeah.
And doesn't. Mm-mm. Says, yeah, don't put my friend in. We're going to be bad if you do. It's going to be a dirty move. Guess what they do?
They put a friend in.
They put a friend in.
Yeah.
Because she's like, well, and all the other girls are like, because Johnny is very nice.
Again, another foreshadowing we should have seen coming when she said, I'm friends with Melinda and I'm friends with Veronica outside of this house. Very close with them. And
it's dirty. Don't put them in. Another like, we're not going to be good.
Coming earlier in that episode when she talks about it. Yeah. So
meanwhile, we have this conversation with Latyrian and his friends. And you can hear Tina in the background, like still like kind of like agitated loudly, like to where I couldn't even like fully enjoy the Latyrian stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm not like faulting Tina for it, but it was like, you could hear it in the background. You're like, oh, she's still talking about that. I just, in general, did not like that Latyrian was in it all. Like, I hated that he lost. I hated that he was going to go in because I do enjoy him and I was rooting for him.
I agree. But in the end, it's a show. Someone's going to have to go in.
Right. And it's in this season, I mean, there's like, we went through it last week. There's no one that like everybody you care about and everybody's good. Hmm? So it's just, it's a tough pill to swallow. So they go into the authority. Kayla's like, can we just all say like our one person that we would save? And she's like, this doesn't do anything for me because like everyone already knows I'm going to save Sylvia. Mm-hmm. But she's like, I'm going to hear everybody else's stuff. My boy Brad was like, I want to save Wes. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that they were like super in cahoots.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was surprised by that. Then Kayla goes in an interview or in front of the group. I'm sorry. She tells us all brand new information, which is that Wes, Melinda, and Nehemiah are all from the same season and they're probably working together.
Yeah, but we all knew that though. Because Melinda said like,
that was very funny to me. Like, I'm like, and I guess like if you haven't been watching for as long as us.
Yeah, but Melinda had even said it just in her one-on-one. And I said it earlier in the show. She was like, I don't know if I'm grouped with him or not. And the Nehemiah thing, that's a no-brainer. I mean, he was a groomsman at Wes's wedding.
Right.
So, like, how do you guys not know this? Like, oh, thanks for the tidbit of information. Didn't know that.
And she's, like, the youngest person there.
Yeah.
And she's like, thanks for telling. Like, in my opinion,
yeah.
And I do like her, but in my opinion, it's like, thanks for that. Appreciate it. Ends up it's Mark versus Latyrian.
Yeah.
Melinda versus Tina.
Tina wasn't happy about it. Mark broke the news to Latyrian. That he says he doesn't know why he's the one that's getting thrown in there, but Latyrian's like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Two friends. They hate to see each other, go against each other, but they understand what they're there for. The Tina thing, she's just like, I mean, she's so over it. She just doesn't even, she's like, what? And like, it just rolls over. Like, I'm done with you all. Mm-hmm.
Well, she's like napping at the time. Yeah. And she's just like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, that's why? Okay.
Yeah. So, they end up they go to the arena and I don't know.
Melinda, like, I paid attention to her face at the very beginning and like, she looked emotional and sort of checked out. And then when we see her walking down the stairs, she's limping heavily. Decides not to do the elimination.
Can we talk about that limp thing? And I'm sorry, our guy Nehemiah, how thirsty is this fella? Like, he's talking about Cynthia in episode 1. Did she have a boyfriend? He's like, well, she ain't got no man. And now he's gonna walk her down the stairs to whatever else. Come on.
They've been friends. I mean, they were on the same season.
I just think he's taking advantage.
They've been on the same season.
Whatever. Doesn't need to walk her down the aisle or whatever else.
He was her partner last season.
Okay, fair. Fine. She can't get down the stairs by herself. Then we knew for a fact. At that point, I'm like, she's not competing.
Mm-hmm.
TJ was fine with it. If TJ doesn't have a problem with it, I can't fault him.
Word. And these seasons were pretty close. I think shooting schedules.
They were very, very close.
So, Ankle felt like it was better. Rolled it again.
You can't do three challenges in one calendar year.
Two. But
yeah, I mean, you can't. But I'm saying there's 6 overall, but that is almost back to back. And she did back to back. She did 2. She sprained her ankle in the final, and then she did this. There was not.
And also had like the devastating loss.
And she does say when she hit that water and she came out in this episode, she goes, "I did something again to my ankle. More like I did my foot, or it feels like something separated my foot." So again, the final test. If TJ says you're good to not compete, then I'm good. I'm not going to go. TJ doesn't like quitters. You know what TJ doesn't like? Does not like quitters. So
Does not.
Yeah. If you let it go.
That's a good vibe. That's good. Yeah. He was like, okay, understand. Like,
but then he pulls the thing that when TJ gets me to laugh out loud at the television.
Oh, it's so good.
It makes me so happy.
So
it's like sunshine when you haven't seen sunshine in like 18 days.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, all right, Tina, we still got to do an elimination. And I legit, we didn't have the opportunity to watch together today. So I watched it, but then I happened to be with you, because you missed the end of the episode, so we watched it together. So I got to do it by myself, and then I got to watch you do it. Oh, it was so good. He's like, all right, so we're going to do an elimination today. Pick your person. Yeah. She turns around, and everyone's like,
did you do what I did? They're not dressed for this. They're going to have to go change.
No, I looked at the people that looked like they were potentially dressed. And
none of them were potentially dressed for
there were a couple. Because there were a couple people that are already safe. And then you see Kellyanne being like, well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just kidding.
And she does the F word. She's
that's
like,
F you,
that's their relationship back and forth. And he just, and when TJ gets that laugh, and you're just like, that's my guy. Look at him go. He just loves the show so much.
Good.
So
so good.
It was great. And then obviously they go into like, all right, Mark and Terry, and you guys are gonna have to do this.
It was an old school one. Remember this from back in the time?
Absolutely. And
I remember it specifically from when like Brad and CT did it, but it was a flag you had to pull.
Uh-huh.
And I remember CT pulled it instead of taking it off the carabiner. So then Brad ended up winning.
That's I know. I love it when you remind me of these things because Spaz J, when he just like has enough and he's like, I'm done with the season. That was another episode where I'm like, CT just got screwed over. I'm done. I'm not watching another episode the rest of the season.
And I was heavy. I was heavy Brad at that time.
Yeah,
so I
was like, this is ridiculous. I'm done. I can't.
But anyway,
this. But yes. So this
familiar
was familiar
elimination.
You know, they're 7 minutes in and they're like, this is gonna be all night. And like, huh?
Guys, it's 7 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's hot. Yeah, and it was interesting. It was good. It's kind of like what I thought.
Looks like it was it from start to finish. It was about 40 plus.
I'd say 45 minutes. Yeah,
which that's a long time to be just in the sand as hard as you can.
Mark, he says, he's like, I'm not going to give up an inch, but I'm going to take an inch slowly when I can, and he does. And you can kind of go when he feels the slack. He moves a little bit further, but he's not there. And then they start whispering. He should just run Laterra, and she runs
John A. just was like, hey, what if he just runs the other way?
But the thing is, no one says it coaching wise to him but he does it because Mark could hear it. Mark would be like, I'm ready for this to happen.
Well, then
anytime.
Wes is like, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
I think maybe somebody else said it.
But it's more their one-on-one time with the camera. Like, it's not a bad idea. But
we do hear Wes.
He does say it's not a bad idea, but it's in the closed captioning. It's not like it's yelled out loud. Run the other direction.
Right.
And then he does, and they have the Van Halen from 1993 right now, which love the music, man. We need to talk about the music. And oh, by the way, another bad creation. I swing my beat at the playground. Mwah, chef's kiss. Love production for that too, because I love another bad creation. So anyway, right now, and it's like in slow-mo, and I'm like, this is gonna happen.
So like, me too.
And then I laugh because I'm like, he's not going anywhere. It didn't do anything.
He made it like maybe like 6-7 feet, and then just
slow mo, and then be like, right now. And you're like, this is going to happen. And then they go to real time. You're like, oh, all right, Mark hit it. Turn up the light.
I know, it made me sad because I was here. He's done 3 seasons, and I've grown to love him. And I'm bummed out. I would like I don't want MJ to go home for injury, but if he does, can we bring back LT? Do you think it'll happen?
You do that. If you do that, he's automatically in the next arena.
You think? Oh yeah.
No matter.
But do you think that would potentially happen? Would they bring somebody back that was previously eliminated, or would they bring somebody that was like an alternate that's been hanging out in quarantine?
I would say they bring somebody back. The smart move would to bring somebody back who's already got rapport with the rest of the house and relationship.
Like a new person or somebody?
No. I agree with you that they should bring him back. If MJ, like we're speculating that happens, they should bring him back. And but then again, by no fault to anyone else in the house, you go, he got a second chance. We don't. Send him back in to the arena. It just, and you can't fault anyone for that. And if you're right, and you can't sit there, you need to earn those stars, so to speak, and be like, I'm back, and I'm back for and I'm back, or you go, if I get dead last, I want to see Mark now because he's 0-2 against him. So be like, if he happens to get at the end again, like, who do you want to see? I want to see Mark. I got to beat him. It's not the man. Hey man, I respect you as a competitor. I got to beat you if I want to win this thing. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
So that's where I would go with that. But yeah, I like that angle that if someone does leave, bring back someone that's in the house instead of just someone comes in and they're like, well, I'm new, don't throw me in because I'm just trying to figure out the game. And I was like, yeah, don't throw them in. And I hate when they do that.
Depending on who it is.
Yeah, I just think you should always just go after the.
But with it's quarantine and all that kind of stuff. I know that like last season, it took a little bit of time for like people to like go home and stuff because they had to do like their exit interviews and all that kind of stuff. So there's potential there.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I think at the end of this episode, they kind of give us a little bit more of like what's going to be coming up. I think things are going to get heated, obviously. You mentioned something earlier because I don't know. This is only 10 episodes?
To my knowledge, 10 episodes.
Okay, so we've
done 2 already.
Yeah. So we have 8 more weeks of this.
Right.
Okay.
So we're talking like end of July, mid-July.
I didn't even think that far. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I don't care about the time. I'm just trying to figure out how you pick off that many people in that amount of time.
Well, every episode is a double elimination essentially because 1 male, 1 female.
Yeah. So you're at 22. You're down to 20 right now. And you've got 8 more episodes.
There's going to be a purge.
So there's got to be something. Because the final, unless you're running 8 on the final, but it's usually 6. It depends on what they're doing.
But if it's per gender.
That's what I'm saying.
4 and 4.
4 and 4, or 3 and 3.
4 and 4 per gender.
Makes about sense.
Yeah.
So you got to get down 12 in. Yeah, you got to get down 12 and. It's usually a 2-part finale. So 2 an episode now. You're looking at getting 2 off per.
So we're looking at 6 episodes,
and you need
from
to get 12
now.
down.
6 episodes to get to the final, and we have 20 people left.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
That's what I'm saying. Because if the final is a 2-parter, which who knows with Paramount Plus, it's not MTV. They're not.
I think it was last time.
But they don't have to do it because we're used to MTV The Challenge, MTV. This is Paramount Plus, all right? MTV is selling episodes because they're selling advertisements.
Right.
We're on Paramount Plus.
Now it's paid prescription.
There's no, I have zero, we talked about this last week and I didn't know what I had. I had 0 commercials. So
you've got the fancy one. I've got like me.
The fancy one, I guess. I don't know. So
I don't know.
maybe it is only 1 episode, but I do feel like this, though. I think we're on the verge of 90-minute episodes.
I feel like we've got to be, right?
Yeah. I do think we're on 90-minute episodes coming up soon.
We've got to be, because like they dropped the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can get through that many people that fast and still create the storyline and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, considering, if I won the money, I'd buy everyone a Paramount.
I thought you were going to tell us.
If I win this money, I'd buy everyone a Paramount Plus subscription. That way they wouldn't have to deal with.
Do it like Nelly.
Yeah. When I win this money, and I deserve to win this money, because I've been working on this so hard. When I do, I'm going to get everybody a Paramount Plus subscription so there's no commercials at all. That's what Nelly T is going to do for you. Not bad.
Hashtag level up.
Yeah, not bad.
Buy his hoodies.
Not bad.
That was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That was really good. So this Wes drama.
All right.
They're doing this good versus evil.
Fair.
Wes said some stuff in an interview the other day that he's something along the lines of like, this guy always acts all nice, but like those are the people I have to look out for. Clearly, Yes is anti-Wes. Where you at?
I didn't know about that interview that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a complete work to get us to talk about Wes and Yes.
No, it was on like.
But they did.
I forget who did it. It was like maybe People, Rolling Stone, something like that.
At the end of this episode, you have Yes saying to Wes, like, you play a game that's out there, very vocal, very kind of messy, sloppy. I don't like it. I'm not doing that. I looked at it. I'm like, uh-oh, those two are going to. Well, then how about I be bad cop, you be good cop, Wes? Because that's what Wes would do, and not in a bad way. And that's the way I looked at it. I didn't know that there was another interview because right away I was like, I'm sniffing this out. This is BS. We're all getting excited for no reason.
Furthermore, that article came out. People were posting little like clips about the article, and there were people from the show. I think Tina saying like, "We love Yes." Somebody said like, he's always been nice to women, maybe not so much Wes. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like right away. I was like, I don't buy this. But if they have it good, you need to have. Wes needs that. It didn't matter. By the way, that's how good Wes is. He was going to create somebody who's his opposite, no matter what. He was going to find someone in the show
who is like super nice with the super attractive job. And apparently he's Indiana Jones also.
Yeah, you love that architect thing or whatever else.
No, so he's an architect and an archaeologist.
An archaeologist, yeah. He's an archaeologist.
Can we please, like with the hat, like go under something and then like grab the hat?
It doesn't matter if Yes was there. Wes was going to find someone to be his antithesis. Am I saying that right? Antithesis or whatever. He's going to find someone that's going against him to create that storyline. Wes knows what he's doing. You
have him though. Like you've got Jordan, so.
But it hasn't. But Jordan. He's making. So because he would have made Jordan do it anyway. Yeah,
so because because Yes won season 1. Against Darrell,
and Wes wasn't in 1, 2, and 3. But the thing is, Jordan didn't take the bait for the sabotage, so Wes needs to move on to the next person. Wes,
and that's what I mean. Yeah. Like that makes Yes a bigger target because Yes is a winner of All Stars.
Yes, but I'm saying that Wes is going to create somebody that's anti him, no matter what.
Okay,
he knows how.
So this poor nice man.
Yeah, no, not poor nice man or whatever else. He's taking the bait. And he goes with it. Just as much as we said that. Why would you give Jordan, the sabotage, it's going to fan the flames. This is what gets Wes going. This is what Wes wakes up for in the day, to have that fight back and forth and the argument and to be like, I'm going to prove him wrong. Because even though those sharks are swimming, all 23 of them are saying those things, he doesn't care. He wants the dialogue back and forth. He wants Johnny Bananas. He wants someone to hate him and say whatever else. That's what's going to motivate him. Because then he can say their name and throw them in, and then he can watch them squirm in the arena. That's what gets him going. And it's okay. That's part of his game, and that's what gets it. He wants. That's what puts him on the mountaintop, to be like, I put them in the arena. Now, whatever else. He's not going to be the guy that's like, I want. When Darrell goes, I'm coming for those stars. At the end of episode 2, Wes isn't coming for those stars. Wes wants to make you get those, and then at the end, he's just going to take.
And that's TV. That's good TV.
Absolutely. I said it before,
and that's one of the big reasons why season 3 is going to be great.
Yeah,
is these people that I get you. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just saying, MTV, you don't need to do this whole bananas is he coming or coming out thing. I'm in. All right. And I'm sure.
And you love Bananas.
I love Bananas. Love him. Really do. And
I'm
sure
me to kind of love Bananas.
And I'm sure anybody else that does it, they're in. You don't need to hint at Bananas is coming in. They just don't need it. You've got good characters. You've got people that can compete. This lineup is legit. So you don't really need to do this. But I'll tell you what, that scream that you hear from where I live, all the way over here, if Bananas comes back, that's definitely me. It's definitely me yelling.
Will it be like a Mariah Carey octave?
Probably, yeah. If you hear it and you're like, is that something? Yeah, like that's definitely me if it happens.
Like something only dogs can hear.
Yeah. That is definitely me. There's no doubt about it. I will own up to it and be like, oh yeah. There's some weird things happened. Yeah.
I keep my phone on silent, but you know what? Honestly, like maybe I need to start keeping it on vibrate.
No.
just for in case.
If it happens, it will definitely be me that gets excited about that. But I don't think it's going to happen. We talked about this last week. I think Bananas has his eyes on other things, and that's the other challenge.
He's the flagship for sure. Absolutely.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where this goes in this next 6 to 8 episodes. So
I ain't mad at it. What else you got for me?
Is there any categories? I mean, we think that you think Tina won this episode?
Tina won this episode.
Veronica wasn't in it much.
Tina's weird swing thing was the cringe.
Okay. I don't think there's, Kellyanne spazzing out over the star was kind of a lot for me too, though. It was just too much.
I get your thinking that way.
Yeah.
But I found it really enjoyable, and entertaining. I feel like we've all been there and just not out loud said. She just out loud said her meltdown.
There are zero times in my life span and Jemmy's lifespan that we have ever made the same decisions or agreed on anything. And I don't know her personally. I just know that any decision she made, I would do the exact opposite. But when she said, I may be concussed or whatever else, but I'm trying to figure this out, and she's doing a hissy fit next to me and I can't do it, I'm like, I feel you, girl. There's no way I would be able to handle this if she's spazzing out like that so bad next to me. I'd be like, you got to calm down. So
just let me solve this puzzle.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I get it. You're frustrated, and all of a sudden there's 3 girls telling you what a piece, and she's like, I don't even know what a star looks like anymore. Like, well, just go to the sand and just do that. Draw and look down at the star and be like, it looks like a star.
I found it funny. She was like, it's an equalizer. I don't want this. I don't I found it funny.
All right. But 2 episodes. It's great. Now, we don't know if they're going to drop 2.
I would imagine it's just 1 next week.
I feel good that I think they're going to go to 90 minutes from here on out. They almost.
I would like that.
I would like that too, and I would like it if they do it. And I actually love it when we fan book how producers should do it. I think they should do it. I think they should
did it one time. Remember?
I know, man. That's why I'm doing it right now. I think they should do the thing, do it, have the challenge, have an arena, and then go into the next challenge, and then make that be the cliffhanger, and then you come back, and then so you have the challenge. You have the ending of the challenge arena, next one set up, and you set it up that way. And I think you can do that in 90 minutes. And I do think with this group, the one thing I did enjoy is that I do want to see them interact.
Yes.
Even in
love
episode,
the jungle party. Love
the jungle party was fine. Episode 2, when they start out, they were just in the pool party
and
the
so
music,
great.
and the
music was so great.
So I like to see them interact or whatever else, and keep an eye on. Don't be shocked every week when it's the Zoom at home. That's when you know the long story, or someone gives you the backstory of why they're actually doing this or what they've been up to and everything else. And that's how you'll know who's going into the arena.
Okay, so let's use that as our thing. If you have a phone call that we see going into the arena, okay, we're also going to tally mark Godfather.
Tally mark Godfather and figure out what time would you be legally drunk if you took a shot every time the Godfather was said and during the episode.
I mean, are we talking shots of tequila? Are we talking like, I don't know, peach schnapps? Like, are we talking like something?
Peach schnapps. I hadn't done that since.
All right, so we'll say tequila shots. Okay, so.
Yeah, you're doing tequila. All right.
Okay. So most likely by about 15 minutes.
Now you're talking about liquor. I loved when Tina said, I'm like bourbon. Come a little strong at time, and then you just kind of get used to me. I was like, that is a great,
that was good.
Great description. Good job,
so
Tina.
Happy.
Yeah, but yeah,
she's like the Amanda of the season as far as like just killing it with the interview.
Listen to me. No one's doing shots of peach schnapps. All right.
So realistically, we're
it's gonna be
way
tequila.
Past that age.
Yeah. So yeah, it would at what time during?
I mean,
the
are we doing shots really?
But not now,
but
maybe. But we don't. We'll get there.
If we were
doing it, you would be legally drunk by the 27-minute of episode whatever else, because the Godfather was mentioned 6 times. So that's what we're looking at, the over under. So I love it.
Ain't mad at it.
Nope. Anything else?
I think that's all we
2
have.
episodes. We killed it.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, on Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube, Final Alliance Podcast. Please subscribe, comment. We want to hear what you have to say. And on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we are Final Alliance Podcast.
See you next week.
Later.